Hello there, you've reached Myer Realty's Commercial Corner. We're here, actually I'm here, Fred Myer and Bob Lunsford have bailed on me today. They're actually in Fallon, lovely downtown Fallon, looking at a mini storage. Yeah, they're looking at a mini storage, talking to an owner who's, I guess, thinking about selling, so hopefully they'll come back with some good news later today or tomorrow on that. Anyhow, today I've got a couple other guests I'm going to introduce in a minute. But right now, Myer Realty's Commercial Corner, one thing we do like to report on, even though it's not commercial, is we like to report on what's going on with the with SFR, single-family residence, excuse me, because commercial follows rooftops. That's the saying. So those rooftops do matter, those single-family rooftops. As you'll see in neighborhoods like maybe way out in Sparks, Vista area, stuff like that, as communities grow, you'll see commercial follows the path of those developments. And so we follow that in the commercial world because we want to know where we should be looking next for value. And so anyway, I have a couple things I want to mention regarding that. One of them is the median price. This is a weekly report that I'm looking at here, but the median price for single family is $369.9, which to me that seemed high when I was looking at it, and I mentioned it to my partner, John here as well, or Scott, excuse me. John's his partner. Anyway, I mentioned it to Scott. There's two Scotts here, so I don't want to confuse you. Anyway, but one of the things it says here is demand measured by the Market Action Index is increasing, and days on market is trending downward. So that's a good thing for sellers. Anyway, if your days on market are trending down, you're on the market less time. You get an offer, you usually get it in contract sooner. Even as more properties come available, these are positive trends for the market. So they're saying even as we're getting more properties on the market, it's still trending downward. So we've got a lot of stuff going on here. We've talked many times on this program about industry that's coming here, new jobs, which are all going to be market drivers, and it's psychologically driving the market now to a large degree, because even though all these jobs we're hearing about with Tesla and Switch, and those are the big buzzwords, there's a lot of other companies too, but those buzzwords and those companies people are talking about, just the fact that we're talking about it has really created a desire for people to invest in this area because of the anticipation of what's going to be coming, and that is lots of jobs. They haven't really came yet. I think we've just sort of started very slowly, but the good thing is for the fairly distant horizon, and I'm talking about maybe the next 5 years, out to the next 10 years, it really looks very positive if what everybody is talking about comes to fruition. We being Myer Realty, the commercial agents of Myer Realty, we go to like the EDON meetings, and we get those reports and we sort of follow what's going on, because that is what this area, what we're looking for to really pull us out of the doldrums we were in. And we were in those for quite some time. Anyhow, so supply and demand is, definitely we've got not a lot of supply and a lot of demand for a single family. And that's also happening in the commercial market. I've got Scott McKenzie with me. Scott, say hello to your people there, Scott.
Hello, everybody.
All right. And I also have Alicia Partide here with me.
Hi, everybody.
Alicia is that's a new agent that's in our office. Scott's fairly new as well, but Scott's been here before. Alicia hasn't been here before. And Alicia comes from a construction background, and her husband and her had a construction company. And I'm looking at some of the things she wrote down here about her company. They got fairly big. I mean, they had quite a few employees at one time, and they were doing a lot of building, when a lot of building was happening here. During the run-up, I think, is when you got the busiest, probably. Is that right, Alicia?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
We do several million a year in sales and building, and end up doing multi-family, multi-big homes
right
in the area. So it was wonderful.
You did some high-end homes and
high-end
stuff,
homes,
right?
Arrow Creek, Montreux, that area.
Right. I'm familiar with those areas. So I actually was in those areas too because I was a painting contractor at one time. So I was up in those areas painting homes in Montreux and stuff. So there were some nice homes up there. So now I'm wondering, because you were in that field, I mean, you're kind of unique. There's a lot of other women that may not have, be familiar with the construction trades. You're more familiar than most of them would be just coming as a new agent.
Yeah, just coming in, I've had up to 60 employees that I had to work. That includes going through the banks, going through the escrow companies, going through homeowners, dealing with homeowners associations, and going from the ground up, working with dirt guys, working with painting contractors.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, my favorite.
Those were rough. Those and drywall contractors,
Oh, my
right?
goodness, drywallers, yes.
I don't know which is worse. But I was a painting contractor, so I'll probably put the drywall just underneath.
Yeah. Just because you're my broker.
Right. So actually, I was wondering, so how do you think the experience of being in the construction trades like you were, and you also were, I mean, you're looking over plans with your husband, you're watching properties from the ground up.
Yes. Yes, I have
built.
a lot of experience with buying and selling land, buying and selling homes. That's what we did for many years, 14 years in business.
Right.
And so I have some experience with knowing the inside and outside of the homes, from cabinets to carpet to roofing to foundations.
Roof, right? Yeah. And so you would probably be a good fit for a fixer flipper guy or somebody that wants, because you understand that a bit.
I understand it. I have contacts still, long-term contacts that we used then that we are still friends with today.
Sure, you could give clients some referrals and tell them, hey, you can call this guy and see if he might be a good fit for you. Yeah, okay. So also, you had to do, it's teamwork. I know this because I was in the construction trade. So there's a lot of teamwork involved. You have crews, you have people you have to work with in the construction trades.
Yes.
And you really, it's like a dance. It's like doing this dance. You got to bring one trade in, and other trades have to work together, and it's all about timing and everything.
Timing and keeping people on schedule, trying to keep things moving forward. The fun thing is putting things together, putting that schedule together, and that's what I'm doing now with Realty. Is we're putting things together. We have that wonderful team in our office that we've put together to go to different mortgage companies that we work with,
right.
Working with the escrow companies. There's a great team, and that's really fit in well with what I've always done.
Right. So, for instance, today you did a lease today. Tell me about that. Tell me about that lease you did today. What was that?
These poor folks have been looking for over 2 years.
Oh gosh.
Looking for a place
Not
to
with
lease.
you for over 2 years.
No, with me for about 6 months.
Okay.
And just finding the right spot, working with the different companies, because it is such a unique, being that it is a dog club. A lot of people don't want to work with animals and don't want animals in their buildings. So finding the right niche for them, being able to get them in the right spot, and it was tricky. It was very tricky.
So what kind of place did you find for them? What is it? How many square feet?
Flex space. It's 45 square feet, and it's going to be open and available for the dogs to come in and come and go as they please, and not have any pressure of leaking roofs or anything like that.
Yeah, okay. Well, so you've signed that lease today, and they're going to be moving in soon.
Within a week.
That quick?
That quick.
Wow. See, that's a great thing about leases, is you don't have to wait for a close of escrow kind of a deal. Leases, they can happen a lot quicker. There's no lender involved.
No lender, just sign it and move in.
Right. So they can actually be in there in just a couple weeks. They could be in there and up and running. I guess they don't have to do a lot of improvements to the property or anything?
No, they have to tear down a wall, is it. And they put down some mats, and the dogs are in there running around having a good time.
Yeah. So if somebody needs to find a place to lease, or if somebody is a fixer person and they want to look for some fixer property and have somebody that can help them out, Alicia, what is your phone number? How can they get a hold of you?
Phone number is 775-338-6638. And while we're on the air, I'd like to pitch a little property that I'm looking for.
Sure.
20 to 30,000 square feet with a yard if preferable. We've seen pretty much everything on the market right now, so if anybody out there has something that's available, please give me a call. We're looking for something that's not on the market currently. And of course, my number is 775-338-6638.
Okay, thanks, Alicia. So we're going to go to break here in just a second. You're listening to Myer Realty's Commercial Corner, and then I'm going to put Scott on the hot seat here afterwards, and we'll chat with him a little bit. Please stick around.
Be between 12 and 24 years old.
Hello there. We're back, Myer Realty's Commercial Corner. I'm here with Alicia and Scott. There's two Scotts here. I'm Scott as well. Scott McKenzie. He's another fairly new agent in the office, and he and his partner, John, came into the office. They both came from another office. We won't mention that office, but they came from another office at the same time, and they've landed in our office, and we're really glad they did. They both have their own individual talents, and Scott came from a background, kind of a unique background of, well, you can tell them about it, Scott.
Well, I started out as a bartender in Las Vegas.
I wasn't talking about that part, Scott.
Well, we're going way back now, right?
Right.
That's where I learned most of my skills, actually.
You could start back when you were born and who your mother and father were, too, but no, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
And I spent 20 years on and off after that in the legislature lobbying on behalf of labor. And over the years, I lobbied on behalf of several different labor organizations, which involves contract negotiations.
Twisting arms, things like that?
Yeah, well, there's always two sides to every equation, just like in a sale, there's the owner and the buyer. So
no, I'm sure a lot of that rolls into what you do now.
Yeah, it actually does. Sitting down, trying to listen to people and find out what their priorities are and incorporating that into a contract so that everybody walks away feeling good about the transaction is what it's all about.
Well, yeah, I guess even in the legislature, you kind of you're trying to find a win-win. That'd be the ultimate goal, right? Is, everybody feels like they got a little something of what they needed, and that's a good real estate deal too.
Yeah.
You have a buyer and a seller, and it's either your price and my terms, or my price and your terms, kind of a thing. And you can finagle a deal between two people by just coming to that understanding.
Yeah, in the legislature, there's many people on each side and many opinions, so you really have to listen to people. And it trains you so that when you're sitting down with two sides, it's actually a little easier, but the trick is to make sure everybody gets something they want, to listen to what they're saying.
Yeah, my daughter actually, one of my daughters, I have two, one of my daughters actually goes to the legislature with her boss. She's the personal assistant to the CEO of a company, and they go there every 2 years and do the, luckily we only have it every 2 years because, gosh, every year.
Citizens legislature, that's why.
Is that why?
Yeah, it's not a full-time legislature.
Right. I know they've been trying to change that, but we don't need that. That'd just be more laws. It gives them more opportunity to.
Right. Full-time legislature is a lot more expensive.
Yeah, right. Anyway, my daughter goes there, and she's learned a lot about it. And it's been interesting listening to her talk because she's the CEO's right-hand girl. So she's right there with all the meetings. So at a young age, she's really learned a lot about government and sort of the workings, the inner workings, to put it nicely, of government. And it can be a little, there's a lot of, I guess, interesting stuff in that menudo.
Well, it's interesting. The lobbyists play an important role to educate the legislators because they don't know about all the issues.
Yeah, they have kind of a bad name, but really they do play an important role, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely. They are the ones that educate the people that vote on the issues so that they understand all the sides. So, there's many sides to many issues, and they listen to everybody, and then they vote according to their conscience and, the people that they represent. And it's interesting to see the mix of different districts and who represents each of the districts and how they vary in their points of view. Right.
And it's, the legislature, they pass laws that affect real estate in a lot of ways.
Yes.
There's a lot of things that happen there that we as real estate agents and investors really should stay up on. For instance, transfer tax. That's just one thing. Every deal we do has a transfer tax. Right now it's $4.10 per $1,000 of the price of a property. And, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think they've been trying to bump that up. And, those are things that affects real estate. The sales of real estate. It makes a sale more expensive. Right now, it's that can get fairly expensive, especially in a commercial deal, where you're talking about $1 million, $2 million or more. That's going to add up to a chunk of money.
That's right. How much money are you going to realize at the end of the day is affected by those kind of decisions.
Right. So the legislature, the reason why we talk about it on this commercial program is that there's laws that are passed there that do affect it. There's construction laws that they just speaking of construction, and Alicia's here, she knows a lot about that. They just passed some laws because we had a lot of problems with new construction laws, the
construction errors,
construction defect, laws, and they just passed a new law to kind of ease that a little bit because it was getting crazy. I mean, lawyers were just having a field day with these construction defect laws. There's a little crack in a wall, and then all 50 houses pile into this big lawsuit, or the whole subdivision, when it was just overkill, and it's just a way for attorneys to make money, and we need to find any new ways for them to make money. So anyway, getting into, I'd like to know, do you have, Scott, do you have anything you need to pitch, or any clients you're looking for stuff or anything like that?
Well, I have a client that's actively seeking mobile home parks, and he's looking for anything $5 million and above, and he is actively shopping. So anybody out there that owns a mobile home park that's thinking of selling, give me a call. My number is 775-830-2575. I certainly show it to my client and see if it's something he wants to look at.
Is he area bound? Where would he go?
He would California and Nevada mainly, but he's willing to stretch out if the deal's right.
Okay. And do you have anything else?
Well, we have a client that's looking for lease backs. He's looking for owners of properties that have their own business inside that for whatever reason would like to sell the property but lease it back.
Okay, so let's give the example of the deal we have going with that client right now.
Right.
It's hopefully going to get inked here pretty soon. They're in the letter of intent stage and they're doing some inspections, but he's looking for another scenario just like this. So tell us about that, Scott.
Well, it's a 20,000 square foot building. It's an interesting building because it involves kitchens. It's a licensed kitchen so that restaurants or businesses, the business that's in there makes horse biscuits, interesting enough. And so there's, everything that a kitchen needs. It's all set, and it's industrial. And so the owner is going to, or the person who's looking to buy is going to lease it back to the former owner as a tenant. And so it's a win-win situation, and for whatever reason, the tenant has decided at this point in time that they need to sell the building. And I think the intent is to expand the business from a regional business to a national business, and of course he's looking for capital, so I think this is going to help him out a lot.
Right, I was going to say the reason for a lease back, there could be a lot of different reasons, but usually the main reason is somebody needs to sell their building and extract some cash out of that building, but they don't want to leave. They already know the building, it works for them, so they'd like to stay there, sell the property, arrange a lease. Within that deal, you ink a lease and everything all within that transaction, so that when it closes, the old owner who's still in there will have a lease. He'll know what his monthly nut is every month that he needs to spend, and that's the way a lease back can work and be a win-win.
Win-win all the way.
Right, because you got a buyer. He already knows what his rate of return is going to be. It's already established within the deal once the deal is made, and so it can work out really well for both sides. Yeah, that's great. Okay, I've got a few more minutes here, and did you have anything else you wanted to add to that, Scott?
No, I think that's it. I think that's actually a great opportunity for business owners in the community that own a building, maybe have overextended themselves and looking for a way to expand, because the market is growing, and this is a way for them to change their capital position,
right,
their debt ratio.
And this particular client that's the buyer of that building, I'll just say, as Scott mentioned, is actually looking for another situation like that. And I think he's looking now for he can go up to like 2.5 million. Is that correct, for another situation?
Yeah, one of the things he's looking to do is bundle homes. He's looking to anybody out there that owns 10, 20 homes or whatever. Mm-hmm. He's in a 1030 situation, so he has 45
1031,
days.
Yeah.
1031 exchange. and he's in a situation where he wants to bundle these homes and put them into a package deal and meet his obligation for his exchange.
Okay. Well, yeah. If anybody, give your number one more time, Scott. If anybody has.
775-830-2575.
All right. Thanks, Scott. And I have, Scott already mentioned he's looking for trailer parks. I had that meant on my list here, but I also have a property, and this is a property that's listed in our office. It's 835 Camino Real. It's a great deal. It's a 1,900 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath house within walking distance from Sparks Marina. The price on that is $244,900. So do the math. That's a good price. It's turnkey. It's ready to go. There's really nothing. We haven't done any inspections, but as far as we know, there's really nothing wrong with the property. It's good to go, and it's been just painted. And like I said, it's turnkey, and that is price per square foot. If you look at other properties in that area on that street, you'll see that that's a good deal for that house. I also have 4 acres in Fernley that have 3 septic tanks on it. It's got city water, city gas, and electric. And the owner will carry with these 4 acres. He's asking $185,000. He will carry, just write an offer. We'll figure out the terms, and we can put a deal together. We're running down to the end of the program here, but I want to thank Alicia and Scott for helping us out. Yeah, thanks, Alicia. Thank you, Scott.
You bet.
And we'll be back next Wednesday. You're listening to Myer Realty's Commercial Corner. Next Wednesday, Fred and Bob should be back here with me to help me make it through this program. Thank you very much.